What's up, all of you kaijus and Godzillas and little girls that can talk to giant apes and everybody that's tuning in? It's nice to see you again. This is a more conventional episode of Citispection because it's just John and me this time. We're sad not to have our friends, but you see a bit more of what the show had been before we joined YouTube, and I think both John and I have some somewhat strong thoughts, at least about the first half of what we'll be talking about today. So let's get right into it, John. The Falcon and the Winter Soldier, episode 3, titled, what was it titled? The Power or something?
Something.
God, we should have known this.
The Power Broker.
Power Broker. There we go. What everybody's talking about. All right. I mean, I know Godzilla vs. Kong would be the natural place to start because people are actually talking about it. It feels, but there's a lot of that I want to get off my chest in the show. There's just this show is like driving me crazy. At first, I was just like, this is just basic, and I think that's what you and I talked about before. It's just like this is a basic show with nothing happening, and then all of a sudden it became. Just to me, it's an annoyance, and I don't look forward to watching it. I don't look forward to talking about it. But at the same time, I do because I'm kind of
annoyed by it.
Yeah. So, all right, let's just jump right into spoilers. Because I mean, if you're seeing this, you probably watched it. So, spoiler alert. We'll get to we keep forgetting about the spoilers.
I know. We need to get that working, right?
Yeah.
One episode.
We need to find another like Hugh Jackman clip or something.
Oh God.
To just figure it out. All right, John, overall thoughts. Just for reference, this episode was written by Derek Kolstad, the writer of John Wick 1, 2, and 3, which really surprises me because it was the anti-John Wick in many ways. But, John, what do you think?
The only good parts of this episode were the action sequences. Everything else was dog shit. So that's probably why. Like, I mean, I love John Wick. Don't get me wrong. And I don't want to. We need to do a John Wick episode. But that all being said, the action is the only thing that drives John Wick forward. Like, the plot is very, very thin.
Well, Keanu is,
I mean, but that being said, this episode too, the action was the only thing that moved the episode forward at all. It was cool getting to see Sharon Carter be not just some like lackey for Captain America. I honestly, the only hope that I got out of this episode, because I didn't think it was great. So overall thoughts was it was lackluster. I think that they're not moving the plot forward fast enough for a 6-episode TV show. I feel like this is being set. I don't know how many episodes the entire thing is going to be, but this, if I were setting a show up for a multi-season arc on something like HBO, this is the pace I would take, not 6 episodes. And if I had 10 episodes, maybe I'd take this pace. The pacing is bad. The action's the only thing driving the show forward. I think that the acting is okay. I think Sebastian Stan's fine. Anthony Mackie didn't really. I mean, there weren't many areas for him to shine in this episode at all because he was quiet most of the episode due to like the whole character thing. But yeah, it was lackluster, and we'll get into some of these other parts that I'm talking about in a minute. What are you thinking? I know that you're not happy with it.
I don't like this show at all. I think it's incredibly boring for a show about the things that it's about. What the hell is it about anyway? I think it's not boring. I think the action sequence, the big one, had some fantastic choreography. So some people might think, oh, it's because it comes from a John Wick people. But the writer is not in charge of the fight choreography.
Yeah, no, not at all.
so I mean, that was like good on the director and the stunt team, the production and the crew, and great for them. But I just don't think any John Wick got transferred into this thing, and I don't enjoy watching those two actors interact. I don't think they've done a good job at it because they keep doing this like, oh, they're frenemies almost, right? Like they're like an old married couple and they keep arguing. Look, Ryan, what a nerd. Well, thanks, Ryan. Thanks for tuning in. Oh, he's on YouTube. What is
Periscope.
The name of that? Periscope. I was going to say Pinterest. So I think there's a sense of just hollowness in the whole thing. It just feels like somebody's like I said last week, we got these two characters. make them do something fun. I think Ryan likes the show. I'm sorry, Ryan. I don't believe it's a good show.
Ryan, at the end of this, you can come on. At the end of the 6-episode arc, you can come on and defend it against me and Gabe. We'll do a
1 hour. Yeah, only Falcon and Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into it. But I don't think this is going to surprise me. I get the pacing, what you're saying, but I just don't think that. I don't think that the pacing is the problem necessarily. I think there's.
There are a lot of problems with this.
There's
show.
a lot. It's a lot. I mean,
the pacing is what I think is what makes the show. The show is losing fans. I'm like, that's not just me saying that. Like, I've actually talked to people, and they're just like, I'm tired of watching it. Right. Yeah. So but the pacing is what makes it feel like it's so long. It's only 40-minute episodes, right? These episodes aren't that long, but like I have to question, like it feels so long. It feels like an hour every single time. And I know
3 hours.
Let's move through it because I know I think I'm moving us to the second question, but like, is Zemo a different character?
Completely.
I think that here's the thing. They are like, okay, let's take him back to more of his comic book roots, I think. And I think that's what they're doing here. I actually like Zemo now. I think Zemo is a good character. I think that he's the only thing actually progressing the plot forward, albeit very, very, very slowly. And they're opening questions. You know, they are very much just like opening up like, oh, well, who was the blood of the super soldier that one guy got? And this, I know that Gabe, you don't like, or you weren't the biggest fan of the way WandaVision ended because it just felt like a trailer. This really feels like a trailer. Like, to be completely honest, it feels like a very, very, very.
It feels like a trailer for a mid-season. No, more like a trailer. Not exactly like a trailer for me. It feels like those episodes like, whatever, X-Files or Buffy or Smallville, or back then when they had like 24 episodes per season, but they only had really a story for like 6 or 7. So the rest are just like filler. It feels like that. It feels not even.
Oh, the Dragon Ball Z powering up. They literally spent 3 hours powering up.
But at least the powering up, I don't feel like this is building towards anything. I don't feel like this is going to have like a big input on the future of the MCU. I don't think this is going to be. I feel like when you see WandaVision, you're like, yeah, I mean, clearly they were leading towards something. Even if, I felt like they didn't get the closure that I was expecting they should get. It felt like they were building towards something. Here, I don't feel anything. It just feels like, again, they got this bunch of characters. It's just like, do something with them, but they have no idea what. It just and to Zemo, because that's the point that we have next. I'm so frustrated by Zemo because I like that character, Daniel Bruhl, and I said it the other day. Like, it just feels he's like one of those actors where, like, whatever he does, he's good in it. He's just like, oh, this guy's good, right? Here, I feel like he is playing like a mustache twirling villain, which is not I don't care what Zemo was in the comics. That's not what he is here. Here in the MCU, he was this guy who was a war veteran. He made it seem I haven't seen Civil War.
He's a baron, though. He is a baron. Like, we knew
they didn't say that in the. I don't remember them saying that.
Yeah. He's always been Baron Zemo. So like,
whatever a baron means in Sokovia, made up country. But I don't think the Russo brothers and the filmmakers had the idea of making him a rich guy in the first movie. He stayed like in shabby hotel rooms. He was not supposed to be like the super rich guy. He was a war veteran.
I mean, he was pretty rich to be able to like buy the devices to take down the electric grid, to rig all of that up, to travel all over the world, to blow stuff up. Like, he had to have had something to be able to do all of that. And like, they're explaining it with his wealth, which I'm perfectly okay with. Like, I actually think that the Zemo storyline is going to turn out to be really good. It's obvious that he's going to double cross them. It is so obvious that he's
of course, and it's like Star Trek Into Darkness. It's like 20,000 like enemy of my enemy is my friend. Blade 2, I think it's about that. I haven't seen it, but I think it's about that. It's just like, oh, we need the villain to kind of like be here, and they were giving a sandbox. And they chose everything they could pick from the Captain America sequels and just put it in here. So they got Zemo, they got Agent 13, they got the action sequences, and it's nothing. It's a nothing show with no inspiration. Hey, Leo, you're just coming in as soon as I'm crapping this Falcon and the Winter Soldier. I'm sorry, Leo. I can't help it. I don't like it. Zemo feels like a completely different guy. And just
I mean, I agree. I like it though. I like it. I mean,
you do, but I mean, I would like it more if I wasn't expecting more. I think. I mean, I would be like, it's fine, but it just to me, I was expecting him to pick up this show. I was expecting Daniel Bruhl to come in and just like save.
Well, I was hoping that the first 2 episodes were slow, and then once they got Zemo, it would really up its ante, and it hasn't. And that goes into the next thing, like. There's a lot of tropes, like the enemy of my enemy is my friend. Like, that's just like, I don't know.
Yeah, there you go. Leo agrees with us. I will say, really, with Zemo, he's oddly convenient in Civil War. He wasn't everyman. He was just the guy. I mean, he maybe had the resources, but he was just the guy. He was just the guy that wanted revenge. And now he's like a mobster, and he wears the trench coat, and then he wears the mask, which I'm sure they'll explain eventually. But it was
I really hope that they're going to explain the mask. I actually love the trench coat.
What's up, Lo?
Yeah. I love the trench coat. I think that it's like so classic, like somebody out of the comics from the 80s. So I kind of love it. But
again, sure, but not this guy. It's just that is not what they did with this guy.
Do you think that they're ramping up John Walker to be the real villain of the episode, the whole villain of this whole series or whatever?
No. He's gonna die. He's gonna sacrifice himself. He's gonna die. While he's dying, he's gonna give Sam the shield. I promise you. I saw this is my prediction.
That can be your prediction, but there was a couple things in this episode that I really noticed. There's something in this episode that I noticed. One was that Bucky said that if Sam didn't want the shield, he was still going to go steal it and take it for himself. That being, like, I just watched the episode earlier today. That being said, like, okay, that leads into Bucky being capped for a while and holding the mantle until Falcon is ready. Which I talked about in the last episode. I think that's what's going to happen. John Walker, I think, could be the bad guy. I think that because you see him starting to lose it in this episode when the guy spits in his face and he's like, "Do you know who I am?" He's not so Cap, weird, but he's not Cap, and like everybody knows he's not Cap.
Again, so, another thing
to think about.
Yeah, but he wasn't set up as being the douchebag until this episode's plot demanded.
Well, you kind of looked at. I mean, when I first looked at him, it looked like rip off, douchebag Cap. It's not the real Cap, I mean,
yeah. But did you see that the actor is getting death threats for some reason? Like, people just.
Relax. I mean, come on.
Oh my god,
this is like the running thing of our show. Be nice, everybody. Be nice. We just want to
be nice, and also these are like stupid movies and stupid shows for audiences to just have fun with. We're not talking about Citizen Kane. Well, even the most serious and important movie ever made is not enough to send a guy death threats. But Lo's comments. I see your points, but I'm still enjoying the show. I want to say the show is nothing until we see it as a whole. Totally fair.
Yeah,
I think that's totally fair.
That's very fair point.
Yeah, very, very fair. Especially when you and Leo agrees with him. I think that's a good point. Thinking of the show as a whole, but also because it's a show, I feel like you need to be engaged episode per episode. Like, I get the point of thinking about the show as a long movie, but you can also think about the episodes as small movies. So it's both of us to me. And if people are tuning out, it's like walking out of the theater.
And that's the thing, Lo. Back to that. I really can't wait to see it as a whole. But as I said in the last episode, I'm really worried that when we get to see the whole thing, it's not going to be panned out. I'm worried about that. I don't know how they're going to get to a resolution at the end of this show because we're halfway through. I don't even know what the objective is. They're going after the flag smashers, who by all accounts are actually good people. The only bad thing that they did this time was blow up a building, and like one guy is like, "Why would you do that?" And she's like, "Oh, well, this is the only way they respond." So I guess the flag smashers are the bad guys, but they're literally Robin Hood. They're stealing supplies and vaccines and giving them to basically internment camps. So, I mean, I'm hoping that in the next 3 episodes they can clear a lot up. I'm hoping that this is like
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree,
yeah,
Leo. It's like that actress, whatever her name is. She's like the villains are not so evil. She's been typecast as that because she was also in Solo. Remember her?
yeah,
Yeah. So she's fine. I mean, nothing against her, but it's just
yeah.
her character. All right, this is something I really want to get into that really bothered me because they used like as their cover they used uh Bucky, and they were like, "Oh, you know who this guy is?" It's like, "Ooh, we're afraid of Winter Soldier." One, no, you don't, because when he was the Winter Soldier, he was wearing a mask the whole time. Nobody knew who he was. He had a different haircut. Like he looked completely different. One, two, you've now seen him with Captain America. You've seen him like save the world with the Avengers. Like he's still not that thing again. It's
Well, they didn't.
another.
No, they
It's
never
another
saw him. They never
stereotype.
remember. So here's the
Yeah.
thing, though. Okay, so everybody knows his face because they thought that he blew up the UN for the Sokovia Accords, right? That's why everybody in the world knows his face. Nobody knows that he's good because remember, Cap saved him from.
Wait. His face wasn't revealed in the Sokovia Accords.
It was. It
When?
was because that's how they found him. Remember, they released it in Captain America: Civil War. They put it on the news and blasted it out everywhere, and that's why everybody knows that he's the Winter Soldier. Is because they put it on the worldwide news because it was an international manhunt. They found him in Stuttgart or something like that.
No, you're probably right. It's still
So,
dumb. I don't care.
I mean, so that's why everybody knows him. So anyway, that's why everybody knows him. And the reason nobody knows that he's a good guy is Cap took him from wherever in Siberia, took him directly to Wakanda. They froze him in Wakanda, then unfroze him once they got all of his brain unscrambled, then gave him his arm. Then he fought Thanos, and then he died and was vaporized. And then he came back and immediately had to fight Thanos again. So nobody yeah.
He's right. You're right. I forgot about that. I don't care. I'm still pissed off.
Thank you.
You're right.
Thank you.
All right, we have 2 minutes left. Just the convenience of the appearance of Agent 13. She just showed up. It was like, hey, you need help? Here's Agent 13 from the bucket of characters you were given at the beginning. And she had the best action sequence. I think she was the character that interested me the most, but still not very much. How do you feel about it in 30 seconds or less?
30 seconds or less, best character in the show. She had no reason to be there, but still best character in the show. Her action sequences kicked ass. She could, maybe she'll be the next Black Widow type person. I don't know, but why she is there, I think will be revealed in the next 3 episodes. I think she's been tracking them all along, but that's just me.
Yes, guys, I've been proven wrong. It's fine. I have to watch it again. I still don't believe you, but I'm happy to say I'm wrong. Agent 13, yeah, she was fine. All right, last question. This is something that's really bothering me, and maybe it's a philosophical question, but like Captain America became look, Leo, John Wick style action. Yeah, the action, the choreography, everything.
The choreography was amazing.
Fantastic.
Her scenes were 100% the best in the entire episode.
Yeah, for sure. And probably the show so far. I would say the show so far, that's the best scene.
Yeah.
It's like you even make you forget about that ridiculous, like goofy scientist character guy. Just anyway. All right. Does the world, or should we save this? Let's save this for next week because we're like 19 minutes in. Because I want to talk about whether the world would need a new Captain America.
Actually, I think this is a really good thing that we're going to talk about on Twitter this week, or poll people on Twitter. Does the world need a new Captain America? We'll do a yes or no poll on Twitter, and then we'll talk about it next week. Because I think that we need a lot more input on this.
We do.
Because especially the people who keep popping up, Lo and Leo. Yeah, I think that we would love to get y'all's input on this as well. So let's Twitter poll it, and then we'll talk about it next week. But
yeah, it's really interesting. It's a concept that to me feels inconsistent, but maybe I'm looking at it wrong.
And Zemo even talked about it a little bit, so maybe we'll quote Zemo. But I don't know. I think the world might not need Cap. It might not. The world needs Steve Rogers. It might not need Captain America. So I
don't think it needs anybody in this divided world. There's nobody everybody admires. Anyway. That's your tease for next week. All right, John. We'll move on to Godzilla versus Kong.
Yeah. So everybody, let's talk about Godzilla versus Kong. I know that it's on the tip of everybody's tongue right now, and it broke the pandemic box office record, right? Which is kind of interesting.
It's really happy. Make me really happy. It means, not for the movie especially, but the fact that movie theaters are starting to come back makes me very happy.
Yeah, I mean, it makes me really happy to think that I might be able to go sit in a movie theater really soon. So, what were your overall thoughts on Godzilla vs. Kong? Did you like it? Did you love it? Did you hate it? I mean,
I was surprised how much I loved it. Because I mean, Leo and Lo know I was teasing the movement of Team Godzilla, Team Kong, and like I didn't care at all about this movie. Like I feel like this was a stupid, bad franchise that never really interested me, and I didn't see how it would interest me in the crossover. I thought it was like, I don't care about the monkey, I don't care about the dragon, I don't care about the paper thin human characters. But I actually really enjoyed it. I think it was a great popcorn movie. The special effects were amazing, fully rendered, not covered in rain like in the other movies or mist or all the shit. Oh, look at this.
That's pretty awesome. I bet it was
amazing. That's awesome, Lo. I'm jealous. I'm sure it looked fantastic.
Yeah, I am too.
Oh, but does that mean you didn't like it, Lo? But I loved it. I really, really liked it. It felt exactly like the early Michael Bay Transformers movies, where you have like, paper thin characters, paper thin motivations, the stars of the special effects, but you have the humans doing 2 or 3 things. Yeah. Oh, Leo saw it in IMAX. That's awesome. Whoa. Oh yeah, I saw. Yeah, that's awesome. John, what do you think?
Yeah, it was a popcorn flick. I think you're 100% right with what you said. It's a popcorn flick. It's one of those movies that you watch. It's one of those movies that you watch, and to be honest, if we're still doing this podcast in 15 years, it's going to be one of those like awesomely bad It's going to be one of those movies that we look back and we're like, remember Godzilla versus Kong? And that's where it's going to go. Like it's going to be talked about as an awesomely bad movie. I didn't think it was. I didn't think it was bad. But it wasn't like it's not. It's not Citizen Kane. Or anything.
Of course
like
not.
That,
but it's for what it was, it was funny. Like especially the Millie Bobby Brown guy from Hunt for the Wilder People / Deadpool 2, and do you know that guy? New Zealand guy. I don't know his name. We should research these things before we go on live. And Brian Tyree Henry, I think the 3 of them were really funny. I loved their interactions. I thought it was really entertaining. I wish, I don't wish there would have been more, because I think more of them might have been annoying. But I think it was a good choice to make her kind of like being her small Stranger Things within this movie. And the movie's incredibly stupid. It's incredibly stupid, and it kind of plays to the next point. It's kind of like, why did you say that name? Because we knew, of course, that they were going to fight together a common threat by the end, because that's what you do every time you have a movie with 2 heroes fighting each other. Avengers does the same thing. Of course, you have 2 heroes fighting each other, and they're going to find a common enemy. But I felt it was okay. I liked it.
It was
it's not like you said. It's not Citizen Kane.
Yeah, I mean, it was the best explanation to have a giant mech Godzilla. Like it was whoever thought, I have to give them props. Whoever thought of this was like sitting around like, okay, we want to make, Mega Godzilla. How are we going to do that? Okay, well, we had him kill in the last movie, so let's take one of the heads and let's say that they communicated via whatever. Like, let's one line fix this really quick, and like, boom, you're done. Like,
and rip off Pacific Rim.
No,
because I guess it's fine because they're both made by Legendary, but who cares? And then you have like it became self-aware, and they don't tell you why, they don't tell you how. It doesn't matter.
It was the leftover brain of
King Ghidorah. Sure, but they don't. I mean, they just give you the minimum. How because they don't care, and it doesn't matter. I feel like at that point I was just having fun. I don't really need the science didn't make. They have starships that go to the center of the earth or something.
Yeah,
and a girl that can communicate with King Kong for some reason.
Sign language. It's like Coco the Gorilla on steroids. But what?
I didn't get why. If it's sign language, why is she the only one that can do it?
I don't know. It is. They say
It is sign language.
She has a special bond. I mean, come on now. It's it's whatever.
It doesn't matter.
It's a popcorn flick. It is a Michael Bay style popcorn flick.
Exactly. I'm sure the guy was like, I'm gonna make Transformers 1, Transformers 2, something like that. But without the racist stuff and Michael Bay excesses. But
the only thing that I can think though is like, where do they go from here? They've literally used up every single monster in the franchise. Like, is this just
nowhere?
Are they like
nowhere? They don't need to go anywhere. Just like let this die. This was like, I feel like people were starting to get fed up by this anyway. I would just leave it there.
I mean, I wouldn't pay to watch it. I mean, I would use like, if I had my, Regal Pass or AMC Pass or whatever, where it's like $20 a month and I go watch all the movies, which is what I did pre-COVID, right? Like that's how I saw all the movies. I wouldn't pay to see this, but it was good,
I would buy it on Blu-ray.
Really? I'm actually kind of shocked. I wouldn't buy it on Blu-ray.
I really like it. Dude, I really like it.
I'm actually that shocked. Like, I liked it as far as like I'll watch it once it's a popcorn flick. I'm definitely not going to. Yeah, they're not going to let it die. They're 100% not going to let it. There's no way that this is.
I don't know because I feel like if they didn't have this movie in the can already, they would have left it die after the bad performance of Godzilla King of the Monsters. But Godzilla King of the Monsters was everything this movie wasn't. Like, they were like complete opposites. The other one was overly dramatic. The characters weren't even like that self-aware. Like the Brian Tyree Henry, I wish would have gotten like that character in King of the Monsters, because it would have made it at least interesting and not interesting, but interesting in the funny way. I really enjoyed it. But let's move on to spoilers. Do we need to though? I mean,
yeah, spoilers.
Yeah, spoilers.
It's.
You already brought up, you already spoiled the Mecha Godzilla. Okay, I have something funny to say. The bad guy, what's his name, is actually played by Demian Bichir, who is Mexican, and his daughter is played by Isa Gonzalez, who's also Mexican, which I found pretty funny. But also funny is that they didn't change their names, and they both have whatever American names. I thought it was pretty funny. Reports that the director filmed a post-credit scene, but they ended up cutting it to see if the audience really want them to continue. That makes sense.
Yeah. I mean, anyway, that'll be the special release director's cut that comes out.
No. Did you see that? I mean, not to sidetrack, but did you see that Daniel Bruhl came out today and he was like, "There's a longer version of me doing this in the in the nightclub." So people started with release the Zemo cut. It's like, no, please. Not again. No, please no. Anyway, I thought it was funny.
Yeah. So what, do you think that they made the movie better, than the last one? I mean, you didn't like King of the Monsters. I didn't like King of the Monsters.
By far the best movie in this universe. By way far. 20 times better than the other four combined. 3, 4, 3.
Yeah, but not to quote Ryan Reynolds from Waiting, which I will not quote on the air because it's not a
quote. I haven't seen that movie.
Yeah, so I won't quote it. But
Lo wants to see more of them. Leo wants to see more.
Oh wow, no. So being the best movie in this franchise is like being the smartest of not very smart people. Like it is not. The bar is super low.
It's like episode 3 is the best of the prequels.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah.
So I mean, they made I think that they made the human characters more likable because we basically didn't see them, right? Like at the end of the few and far between.
But it was enough. Like they had,
what's his name? Alexander Skarsgård? Is that his name?
I think it's his brother or something. Skarsgård. He was okay. He was like the cool guy, main guy that you don't get that much anymore. They had the girl. He had a bit of a love interest in a little girl, and they had the other three during the comedic stuff. And they had like the mustache twirling villain, and they had the most obvious reveal that the daughter is evil ever. Like Isa Gonzalez being like, "Oh, I'm evil." Oh, it's like, "Ooh, I didn't see that coming." But again, the movie is so like blatantly like self-aware that it doesn't matter if it's if it's dumb that the guys that were the most evil guys. Look, for example, look at Leo. Leo knows like the characters from the Japanese lore, so he wants to see those. That's fine. I mean, if it's another one like this, I'm in. I don't think they'll pull it off, but if it's another one like this, I might watch it.
Well, I wonder how much money they spent on this thing. Like,
a lot, too much. The special effects were beautiful.
Yeah, I mean, the special
like
effects
amazing. Like truly mind blowing. The lighting.
Amazing. I mean, the thing is they did make the monsters look great. Like all of the monsters look great. Just
well, the thing is, Leo, I feel like beyond the Godzilla fan base, if they say Godzilla versus like Jet Jaguar, people won't know who that is. I just don't. You know what I'm saying? Like, and also to the point of the plot that we mentioned before, it's like the plot of like, we're enemies, but we're both good guys, and then
but like
we fight a common enemy,
right? Yeah, because like it's Kong. Kong is somewhere in the center of the earth now, right? Like he went down Godzilla's giant hole that he created with his fire breath.
That was amazing. I love that thing. I love that. It was. I don't know. I'm not sounding like myself. I'm like not at all.
No,
it's just here's the thing. Yeah, I'm not me.
Yeah.
All right, let's move on. What do we got here? I think we've basically gone over everything.
We've gone over it. Do we want more movies in the MonsterVerse? I mean, obviously, some people do. We see Leo does Godzilla versus Transformers.
We just saw that Godzilla. You know what would be fun?
We did just see Godzilla.
Yeah, do a Godzilla versus like bring in like somebody like The Rock and make him like giant.
That's what Kong is. Kong is like if The Rock gets any bigger, he will be the size of Kong. Let's be honest.
Exactly. Bring in somebody like or somebody better like Christopher Walken versus Godzilla or something. Leo, how would you feel about Christopher Walken versus Godzilla? Or even better, bring back Matthew Broderick and Jean Reno and do Godzilla versus Godzilla 98 cast.
They need to do a Godzilla multiverse and do Godzilla from Godzilla 98 versus the Godzilla from King of the Monsters.
Well, actually, did you know that there's a Godzilla movie, whichever one from Japan? Probably Leo knows. What is it? I think it's Final Wars, but please keep me honest, Leo. Where Godzilla kills Godzilla from 98, but like really easily. Like he just slaps him with his tail or something, and he just goes right out.
I mean, Godzilla in 98
Godzilla versus Wreck-It Ralph. Yeah.
I mean, here's the thing, though. Godzilla, and we can compare because we talked about this, right? Godzilla versus the old Godzilla. The Godzilla in 98 was weak. The army took it down. Like, it took it down with jet fighters. Like, this Godzilla, like, they can't do anything to take it down. It's invincible, right? So...
there it is. It's Final Wars.
Yeah.
Wars. I didn't see. I just saw the scene because it's very funny. You know where he pushes him to the Sydney Opera House, and then he uses his whatever fire. Right, Leo? Is that what it is? I'm pretty sure that's what it is. And he uses his fire to kind of like blow him up. It's funny because they're people in suits. That's the charm of Godzilla. That American.
I mean, these are at this point though. These are going to become very big budget B films, kind of like kind of like Quentin Tarantino did with Grindhouse. Him and Robert Rodriguez did with Grindhouse.
We gotta talk about Grindhouse at some point in this show. We gotta talk about Grindhouse. It's really good.
Big budget B movies, right? And I think that is where they're going with it.
Fine, totally in.
Like we both said, I mean, final thoughts. I think it was a great popcorn flick. That's 100% where I would leave it. I don't know that I'd pay for it. Sounds like Gabe really liked this for some reason,
I
which
love it. I love it.
never expected. I never expected
Me neither.
that.
I was just like, you know what? I started watching it because I'm with family right now on vacation. I started watching it at midnight, I think, and I'm here with my nephews they're 6 and 3, so they're just running around. Of course, they're too young to see Godzilla versus Kong, especially the 3-year-old. So I had to watch it when they went to bed, but they're in vacations. They went to bed at midnight. This is too much information, by the way. Anyway, I started at midnight, and I didn't fall asleep. I was thoroughly entertained. Rachel was next to me, like, just like completely out. I loved it. Look, Lo, call me. Of course we will. Of course. Well, we don't need to call you. You're always like open invitation, Lo. Of course. Whenever you see a movie that you want to talk about, this is home for you as much as it is for us. Hey, Andrew. All right. So closing out, John, was there a trailer out this week? I feel like if we have 4 minutes, I want to talk about it.
There were a bunch of trailers. Black Widow.
There was a trailer there. Yeah, Loki,
new,
but it wasn't that. It was something else.
Black Widow and Loki both released trailers this week. The new Black Widow trailer was pretty good. I think they're trying to reinvigorate everybody into watching it. So we'll see. This week for us was pretty weak. We didn't watch any 90s movies, and we tend to like 90s movies more, which I think everybody out there who's listening and watching knows that's generally like our little niche. So
that is our thing. There was a trailer I wanted to talk to you like right at the beginning, John, and I forget what it was.
Completely forget what it was.
I completely forgot that. I guess that's how memorable it was.
But we are going to, this week coming up, do a Twitter poll for if Cap should exist. So, do that. And then the other big thing is, we promise. We are going to do Daylight next week because obviously we can't even fill 40 minutes over there, that side, whichever side. We can't even fill 40 minutes with what's going on
Kong.
because, it's not 90s. So let's go back to like our roots and do something crazy and talk about how they literally built an entire tunnel for that movie and flooded it just for the practical effects. I'm really excited.
They don't do that anymore. They don't do that anymore. I missed that so much. We'll talk about it more next week. Lo, I'm sorry. Thank you for your patience. We really like you when you come in the show, and Dives, I think, also wanted to come in. So we'll have that next week. I'll probably be watching on the plane, so I'll be flying back. Anywho, John, I'll sign us out. Yep. So you can follow me at Film Opinionitis, and you can follow John at Joe Firth. Notice there's no N in the Joe. And you can follow us at Cinespection. Let us know if you'd like us to talk about something. Today wasn't our most enthusiastic episode. We usually have more funny things to say, but these were like, not big topics, and we wanted to keep it under 40. That was a big thing. Also, make sure to follow the Painted Lines and tune in if you're a sports fan. They have a lot of really great sports content here, and we shall see you next week. Thanks, John.
Thanks, Gabe. Bye, everybody.
This has been Cinespection, and I am not ready for the closing.
Also.
Yeah. Yes.
Follow
go ahead.
Our friends over at Geekly Goods, by the way, because they're always
We love the Geekly Goods. All right. Goodbye. Hugh, sign us off.